George de Benneville, Germany, approximately 1740.
I had been a wanted man in France, arrested twice for preaching that God's love has no boundary, that every soul, without exception, would one day be restored to happiness and holiness. My companion was executed. I was seconds from the blade when a reprieve came from the king himself. I spent the years that followed moving through Germany and Holland, preaching, praying, pouring myself out for the salvation of souls. It was too much. A deep concern for the lost weighed so heavily upon me that I fell into a consumptive disorder, a wasting fever that consumed me slowly, then completely. My body was reduced almost to a skeleton. My friends had to feed me like an infant. The physicians could do nothing. At midnight, I felt myself die by degrees. I was drawn upward, as in a cloud, and two glorious guardians appeared beside me, shining like angels, with white garments. The one at my right hand came before me and said, "My dear soul and my dear brother, take courage. The most holy Trinity has favored you. You shall be witness to how he will restore all his creatures without exception." Then the one at my left hand spoke, "My dear soul, my dear brother, be of good courage. You must be prepared to pass through the 7 habitations of the damned. Prepare yourself to feel something of their sufferings, but turn inward deeply during that time, and you shall be preserved." We were lifted up into the air and soon arrived in a dark, obscure place where nothing could be understood but weeping, lamentation, and gnashing of teeth. A dreadful repository of all sorts of damned souls. All iniquities reduced to 7 classes or habitations. There I saw duelists burning against each other in flames of anger. Fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, thieves, the covetous, drunkards, slanderers, priests, judges, lawyers, every condition of men, each laboring with the very sins they had committed on earth. I watched them, and I wept. My compassion became so great that I said to my guardian, "I cannot be happy while even a single creature remains in misery." He did not rebuke me. He said, "Be not troubled. What you see is purification, not eternal punishment. The mercy of God is without bounds. Every soul that passes through this place will one day be delivered." Then the heavenly host appeared, thousands upon thousands of souls, lately delivered, clothed in white robes, following in triumph. And all of them cried with one voice, "An eternal and everlasting deliverance, universal and everlasting restitution of all things." At the edge of that glory, Adam himself, the first man, came forward and spoke to me. "Rejoice with universal and eternal joy. You are favored with the heavenly visions." We rose higher still, 5 celestial mansions, each more glorious than the last. At the first, a great multitude met us with songs of triumph and love. They conducted us into a vast hall and set before us a table covered with fruit, delicious beyond anything earthly. While we ate, the celestial multitudes sang. No instrument, no composer, just pure, willing, endless praise, rising from souls who had been through everything and come out the other side as light. A divine mediator came before me and interceded. "My Father, behold me with thy paternal regard. I have made expiation for this sinner. I have shed my blood even to the last drop for him. Where his sins abound, our grace abounds much more." And then I heard a voice that passed through me like light through glass. "Take courage, my son. Thy sins are forgiven. I wanted to stay. I had no memory of Germany, of the fever, of the body lying below. I was home. I had always been home. But my guardians told me it was not yet my time. I had been given these visions for a reason. I was to return. I was to sail to America. I was to preach the universal and everlasting gospel, that the most holy Trinity holds a pure, universal love toward all the human race, without exception. I returned. When I sat up in my coffin, the mourners were astonished beyond measure. 42 hours had passed in the world below. To me, it had felt like years. I sailed to Pennsylvania in 1741. I spent the next 52 years as a physician and a preacher. I treated the wounded of both sides. I learned medicine from the native peoples. At 88 years old, my mind was still set to preach the gospel. I had seen what waited for every soul at the end of every road. Fear is not the truth. Hell is not the final word. The mercy of God has no flaw. Every habitation of the damned will one day fall silent. And when it does, the song you will hear rising is the same song I heard in the celestial mansions.